Hey guys, KingRazzel here, and today we'll be reviewing Ratchet and Clank 2016. This game was released on April 12, 2016, and is a reimagining of the first game in the series, which was released back in 2002. This game is exclusive to the PlayStation 4 and is a tie-in with the movie, which is set to release on April 29, 2016. I'm going to break my review into three different categories, the categories being story, which I'm going to talk about the story of the game, obviously, gameplay, talking about the gameplay of the game, and value, which is basically I'm going to go over how much bang for your buck you're getting with this game. The story of the game begins in prison of all places, and we see Captain Quark meeting a fellow inmate named Shiv Helix. Shiv excitedly meets the hero and begins to discuss the new Ratchet and Clank Holo game, which is based on the Holo film, an obvious tie-in with the video game based on the movie. This upsets Captain Quark since no one ever asked for his side of the story, to which Shiv asks for his tale and Quark begins to tell it. From this point on, you'll play as Ratchet as Quark tells Shiv about Ratchet's rise to glory. The story, in my opinion, has its good points and bad points. I'll try not to go in depth into either side to avoid spoilers, but we'll start with the good. The best thing this game did, in my opinion, was to expand on who Captain Quark was and his motivations as to why he does what he does in the events of the story. This story being told by him is a big reason that we see more of his thoughts and feelings, but it was still interesting and definitely more telling about his character than the 2002 game. I also enjoyed the addition of several new characters such as Grimroth and Hilarious, even though their parts in the game were minor, and of course the series' signature comedy returns and is as enjoyable as ever. Now let's discuss the negatives of the story, and for me, I only really had one issue with the story, and it didn't really pertain to me as much as it would someone who was coming into this reimagining with this being their first Ratchet and Clank experience. The issue that I had was with the introduction of Dr. Nefarious's involvement in the story. Outside of a few words by Quark mentioning that Nefarious is a villain he's dealt with in the past, there's no real formal introduction to him as a character, and then the first time we see Nefarious and he gets any real screen time, he pulls the biggest plot twist of the game, which to me just came straight out of left field. It did not make sense to me at all. And then they never really explore the relationship between Drek and Nefarious, which is something that I personally was interested in seeing, as that to me, the introduction of Nefarious so early in the series, was something that I was looking forward to and was the biggest change for me between the 2002 Ratchet and Clank game and this new one. All that being said, I don't think story is the biggest thing in a Ratchet and Clank game, and most people, myself included, come more for the gameplay. I'm also not sure if they're planning on going more in depth in the movie as to some things that they just kind of grazed over in the story of the game, such as Ratchet and Clank's meeting and or Nefarious/Drek's interactions, but it would make sense because this is a tie-in, so they may be trying to... The stories just seem kind of limited to me, and they may be trying to limit that story so that they can more focus on different things in the movie, so they're not spoiling everything in the game. So that may be what they're trying to do, because, like I said, the story just felt kind of... It felt kind of rushed to me, I guess. Gameplay is your typical Ratchet and Clank experience. If you don't know what that means, then let me give you a little taste right here.
Mr. Zurkon is here to kill.
Ratchet and Clank is all about using big crazy guns while platforming, and this iteration is no different. The game plays very similar to previous entries in the series, if not smoother in feel and flow. You'll be given access to different weapons with varying uses, all of which are fun to use and offer different advantages. Personal favorites being the returning Sheepinator and the new Pixelizer, which turns enemies into blocky 8-bit beings who will explode after you've dealt enough damage to them. You can also upgrade all these weapons, and it's these enhancements that keep the gameplay from getting stale as your gun progresses. Ratchet also has use of some gadgets which offer variation to the gameplay, including the grind boots and most notably the jetpack, which will be used in specific areas of the game and, in my opinion, offer some of the most fun fights.
Lazy furball, get up and fight.
Warning. Atmosphere volatile. Mechanical failure imminent.
Easily the biggest change to the gameplay, however, is the Clank segments of the game. Previously, Clank sections consisted of Clank using a mind link on various types of gadget bots to control them and make them perform different actions. This time around, Clank still uses gadget bots, but instead of using them like a minion master, he'll use their various capabilities to solve puzzles. It works sort of similar to going Commando's Clank sections, but instead of using your mind control on the gadget bots, you'll use them more as projectiles. The only bad thing I really have to say in regards to the gameplay is that there seem to be fewer planets or areas to explore in this iteration than there were in the original 2002 edition. In particular, I'm thinking of Eudora, which was the logging planet which I would have liked to have seen. However, I think they removed some of these planets to better streamline the story. They also changed up what you do on some of the specific planets. In particular, on this one, I'm thinking of Gaspar, which is where they added the jetpack. In my opinion, this game offers quite a bit of bang for your buck, especially since the game was released at $40. I've beaten the game twice now, and watching the cutscenes and playing at my leisure, the game took me around 7 or 8 hours to complete the main story. The game also has a pretty high replayability since after you've beaten the game, you'll unlock the challenge mode, which has been in pretty much every Ratchet and Clank game thus far, but if you're unfamiliar with this mode allows you to push your weapon strength even further, and you can wear different costumes, and it increases your bullet intake. Alright, so to wrap up this review, I'll first list off the positives. Positive 1, Quark's personality was expanded a bit more. Positive 2, the jetpack was very fun to use. And positive 3 was the Clank sections were much better in this game than they were in previous incarnations, in my opinion. As for the negatives, I really only have one, and that's that the story didn't exactly explain some things that I would have liked to have seen. Overall, this is a very fun game for anyone who's grown up playing Ratchet and Clank or is looking to get into the series. I'd recommend this game to pretty much anyone who's enjoyed platformers over the years and thinks they'd be fun with guns. I give this game an 8.5 out of 10. It's a fun experience, but to be honest, I don't think I'm going to think about this game down the line. I don't think I'll ever really look back on it. I don't find it really that memorable, as the only new experience it really offered was the jetpack, and while it's still a very, very solid game, I never really found myself amazed by anything that was going on. It was a great game, it wasn't revolutionary. Alright guys, so that is my opinion on the game. I looked at it as fair and just as I could, and this is where I landed on it. But leave your guys' comments below if you enjoyed this game or not, those of you who've played it, and let me know just what your guys' thoughts are on it. Also, if you guys have any suggestions on the layout or format of this review, then let me know about that. This is the first one that I've done on here, so I've got nowhere to go but up on this. The next review that I plan on doing will be for Lichtam Battle Mage, which is set to release on consoles on April 19th, so stay tuned for that. It is already out on PC, but it is coming to consoles, and I haven't played it yet, so I do plan on doing a review on that. The episode will hopefully be up on April 22nd, so I have a few days to play it and formulate my opinion before I put that episode out. Also, I've posted my video schedule in my channel description. If you guys are interested in that, then be sure to check that out. Alright guys, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in my next video.